Hi guys, how it going? Got my tea. Right, I need my phone. Can't do it without my phone. So let me just grab the phone. Where did I put my bloody phone? Ah, I'm going to spend an hour looking for my phone. That would be annoying. Luckily, I do have a spare phone, but I just want to see if I can get it. So what I'm going to do while I quickly go and find my phone, we're going to carry on. So welcome, guys. Welcome to Defending Elvis. If you're waking up later, I hope you had a good night's sleep. Get yourself a tea or a coffee. I can hear a helicopter outside. So we're still going to carry on because I received this from Natalia Leigh, Susanna Lee's daughter. I still want to discuss it a bit more because I wanted to do one video that we post on the video channel and one that we discussed together live. We will talk a bit about how she defended Elvis against David Stanley, who just seemed back then, I think, was it 1987, to just enjoy trashing his stepbrother, which is an absolute joke. I know that I'm sure there are many good things to say about David as well, David Stanley, because he did change his ways. I do think he's a bit of a Priscilla fan, based on his recent interviews, shows at the Westgate. I don't know if you guys know, he's got a bit of a residency at the Westgate, doesn't he? Still making plenty of money out of Elvis's name, which is upsetting, to be honest with you, because now if David Stanley had spent his life praising Elvis, being positive, upbeat, then and making money from him, I'd be okay with that. But he didn't. He spent a lot of his life trashing Elvis, putting him down, belittling him, not really telling the world the proper truth about the fact that Elvis was just sick and needed his prescription medication. So I've got strong feelings about David Stanley. I'm not angry or I'm not hateful, because I'm very forgiving. I come from a place of love. But he messed up. And he didn't just mess up once, he messed up many times. So did his brother Ricky. So when I see beautiful Susanna Lee, Elvis's co-star from Paradise, Hawaii, defending Elvis just because she likes him, just because she loves him, I have a big smile on my face, and I have to praise and promote and make sure the world knows that Susanna Lee defended Elvis just because she wanted to. Not because she had to, not because she was paid, just because she wanted to. She wanted to defend her friend, which is what these family members and the Memphis Mafia and ex-wives and many others should have done. Defended Elvis because he deserves it, because he had been so kind to them, because he was a nice guy. Elvis was a nice guy. Yeah? Through and through, Elvis was lovely. He definitely did not deserve a lot of the treatment that he has received at the hands of many of these people around him. Unfortunately, a lot of these people were around him when he died and leading up to his death, where they should have been looking after him. So, you know how it is, guys. So, yeah, hi, Richie boy. I'm coming into land now. Won't be long. How's it going, my mate? Memphis Mafia, Memphis Flash Richie, who told me yesterday he's going to start posting some videos, which is great. And then we were on Elvis History, Terry's show last night on his live stream. I think he was discussing Piers Morgan and Priscilla Presley, their last interview she gave, I think. We've reviewed it quite a few times. Half of that interview is complete joke. Piers Morgan basically spends the whole time ass-kissing Priscilla. I have a feeling they were just good. They were just really close for decades. I've always wondered why Piers Morgan brown-nosed Priscilla. I've always wondered it. Yeah. I still don't understand now why he brown-nosed Priscilla. I just don't understand it. So let's see what I was going to do. Play a bit of Paradise Hawaii. Hang on. Let me just get
Where'd
it.
you put the ad in?
Pause. Then we were going to read some of the book. I wanted to find some old interviews of Susanna Lee. So remember, Susanna Lee wasn't just Elvis's co-star. She also was a really good actress. A really good actress with a very interesting backstory, how she became famous. From rags to riches, guys, literally from rags to riches. Obviously born in Britain, had a tough childhood. Her story, how she became famous, is amazing, amazing. So we're going to try and find that. I've watched a lot of Susanna Lee's interviews. I keep calling her Suzanne, but it's Susanna. Her book, I've already started reading it. I just think, what a great book with loads of pictures. She's pictured with many, many famous people. I think she mixed with some of the most amazing people. I'm a fan of Joan Collins. Obviously, there's a picture of her meeting the Queen and many other big names. Look, Robert Redford, Rex Harris, Deborah Kerr, Dirk Bogarde, Rachel Roberts. The premiere of Alfie. So I know she was good friends with many British actors like Michael Caine. I'm just looking at the pictures here. She's a bloody good-looking woman. She's just a real stunning girl. There's some lovely pictures of her. There's no point in me showing you them because it's all blurry. I'm just seeing how many of them. Oh, look, that's Hughie Green. Hughie Green, Michael Crawford, Liz Fraser with me and Funky Skirt on. At the Variety rehearsals for the Variety Clubs Awards in 1973. Eric Morley. Now, come on, Hughie Green. Who remembers Hughie Green? I do, guys. Do any of you remember Hughie Green? Lena Zavaroni. Who else is she with? Barbara Streisand. Peter Wingrove. Just, this woman had a fantastic life. Roman Polanski, Sharon Tate. She was one of the sweetest people besides being absolutely stunning. I'm just looking at her pictures. Obviously, there's a picture there with her daughter, who is Natalia Leigh, and she sent me a few pictures. Natalia's lovely. She's got her own Facebook, and she honours her mother, Susanna, constantly. There's a lot of good pictures here, guys. She really, really was a good-looking woman. I'm not surprised that Hal Wallace allowed her to check, because she convinced him to change his mind, because Hal Wallace had already chosen a different co-star to play in the film Paradise Hawaii, and she had a plan to change his mind. The contracts were about to be signed. Susanna Lee wasn't going to allow that contract to be signed. She took an aeroplane over to London and made a beeline straight for Hal Wallace's hotel. I think he was in the Hilton, and just knocked on his door and showed up and said, I want to be the girl that is co-star with Elvis. She'd always dreamed of being Elvis's co-star. She was a massive fan of Elvis. Massive fan of Elvis. So, yeah, I've always liked Joan Collins. Come on, we all like Joan Collins. Let me just check your comments, guys. Let me see if I can move this higher. I might be able to see more comments. Okay. Yeah, she was. Do you know what? Susanna was stunning even when she was older. She's just a naturally beautiful woman for the whole of her life. With the most impressive career. There's some great pictures of her with Elvis. Just love it. Love it, love it, love it. Really good. Really good. So obviously this is the book. Please buy it, guys. I've read a few bits of it, and it's a great book. And Natalia Lee, her daughter, has signed it for me. Darling Louis, thank you for your defending Elvis. I hope you enjoy the stories. Kindness as always. Actually, one thing I didn't tell you guys on a different topic. I had a message from Mary Patricia. Do any of you remember we did something on Mary Patricia? Let me see if I can get it up for you. Obviously, I did let her know. She has an Elvis channel. She has a fantastic Defending Elvis channel. And I did let her know that we were going to be talking about her on our show as an Elvis defender. Let's see if I can find it. Where are we? Right, let me just see if I can get a comment out, because what a lovely comment. Let's have a look. So Mary Patricia. So let me just check that you guys can see it. Right, so I sent Mary Patricia a link to my videos. Let me just check that you can see this. I sent Mary Patricia a link to my videos and told her that I was obviously very proud of the work she does. And I went onto her YouTube channel and just said, look, you know, we like what you do. You defend Elvis. We're discussing Sally Hoddle's book, Destined to Die Young. And I'll just show the books as I mention them. And we're discussing the strange medical saga of Elvis Presley as well. So I just told her what we're about. All right, my mate. Told her what we're about and said that we were going to review some of her stuff. And she's replied and she said, very kind words. I wonder if it lets me click it up. No, it's not going to let me, but I'll read it. Hello, Louis. I just watched both of your videos regarding my content, and I must say that it makes me so happy to see someone like yourself sharing the conversation that you do, all with defending Elvis and his story of the heart. Let me just read that bit again. Defending Elvis and his story at the heart of it. Yes, so that's what we do. We defend Elvis at the heart of it. That is what we do. And his story at the heart of it. Your kind content is exactly what I love to align myself with. And I'm glad to know I have a fellow Elvis defender out there. I am proud to support channels and fans like yourself. Please keep on sharing the truth from Elvis Presley. He deserves people like you in his corner. I appreciate your opinions on my work and your kindness as well. Thanks. Talk soon. See? So we have a friend, Mary Patricia. Just so you know who she is, let's get her Facebook up. Let me just check that you can see what I can see. So what a lovely comment from Mary Patricia. Let me just... So that's her face, but obviously she's on YouTube. She's on Instagram. So I'm just, Mary Patricia, we love it when we find fellow defenders. Just a little quick glimpse of her. So obviously there's Grace Lands. She's been defending Elvis for quite a few years, guys. So if you look at her Facebook page, it's just full of, oh look, we've got Amy Collett on there. Come on, we like Amy. All of these names I recognise. Angie Marquise is on my friends. Obviously, we've got many others here. Let's have a listen. The narrative health. Right, let's just click on this very quickly.
So a couple days ago, I was talking to one of my friends, and he was telling me about this Elvis show that he was so lucky to be able to go see back in 1977. Because Mary was not even a thought in 1977, I took to Google to look up a picture of what that show looked like, what Elvis looked like from that show, to get a little glimpse inside of what he was able to see in person. So I found a picture of Elvis from this show. Mind you, it's a March 1977 show. I'll insert the picture that I found. There's multiple pictures from the show, but this is just one of the ones that I was looking at. And as I looked at it, I was like, dang, he really looks good. And I don't want to come across the wrong way in this video. I think that Elvis looked good regardless. I mean, you know me. I think Elvis was still getting women. They would have given anything to have his babies in 1977, in August of 1977. But I know we all can agree that by August of 1977, Elvis did look very sick. You could tell something was wrong. You could tell that he was not feeling good and his energy was down, everything across the board. He just wasn't looking good. And I don't say that to be mean or say that he looked ugly. I'm just saying he looked sick. But something that I find really, really interesting as I look at Elvis pictures from especially like the 70s, but you can even see it a little bit in like the late 60s, his image, how he looked, how he presented, really fluctuated a lot. And I think that that's...
So guys, I don't want to play too much of it because what she's doing at the moment, or she's about to do, I think she's creating an ebook discussing this. She's trying to understand why Elvis was sick, why he needed medication, why his health seemed to change over the weeks, over the months, within each year. And she's just trying to understand from the point of view of defending, why Elvis was sick. And she's trying to prove Elvis was no druggie, that he needed his prescription medication. He was in a lot of pain and distress. He was pretty desperate, but it was on and off. Sometimes he would feel great. Other times he would probably daunted by the amount of sickness that was coming his way. So this is just a quick introduction to Mary Patricia. So I recommend this lady. Go and subscribe to her YouTube channel. And her content is excellent. Excellent. She's great. I know she's very close with Sally Hoddle. Yeah, me and Sally disagree on things, but the bottom line is she defends Elvis. Got to be a good thing, guys. So let's go back over to... I was just going to play a little clip of Paradise, Hawaii. And then we're going to just have a little chat. We are going to discuss this book. And then I'm going to try and find some old interviews of... of Susanna Lee back in the day, like interviews from the 60s, if I can find any. Some from we've got some recent interviews as well, done in the last 10, 15, 20 years as well. So we're learning as we go.
Elvis, flying high, bringing you a new kind of romance as he soars his way over all the islands in the glorious Hawaiian archipelago, singing and loving his way to Paradise Hawaiian style. Elvis, the flyboy from the mainland, and he's after every wahine in sight, from the blonde Malahinis to the Maoli girls of all Polynesia. But certainly not all at the same time.
Is this any way to run an airline?
Maybe you better cool it, huh?
Oh, look, I ain't leaving until I get my steak. Baby, we just have a good time.
Rare.
I love it. It's like you've got Susanna Lee there, and did she ever believe when she was living in the UK and she was very poor, with almost nothing? She really did have a tough childhood, that she would one day be with Elvis Presley on a movie set filming a fight scene. She dreamt all of this up. If you look at one of her interviews, she basically says because her childhood was so tough, that she would imagine being a famous actress around the world, to take her mind away from how difficult her childhood was. And that one day she plucked up the courage to go and knock on Vivien Leigh's door and ask for her help, to help her become an actress, but also if she could use her name, Leigh. She wanted Vivien Leigh to be her like surrogate godmother. So a fascinating story, guys. She made her luck. The one thing I've learned about Susanna Lee, she made her luck. Yeah, it wasn't handed to her. She made it happen, guys. An inspiration, really. It just tells you that if you want good things to happen in your life, you have to make them happen. There's nothing wrong with making your own luck. Let's just listen to a few little bits.
Hopefully, yes. And I do events here at my house. I'm doing 2 events here at this Elvis week. One is for mostly British people, and there's going to be tea for 70 people. And then the next day I'm doing an event. I'm raising money. I try and always raise money for the Elvis Presley Post, $2.49 for boys and girls coming back from Iraq. You know, they need somewhere to go, not just Starbucks. And so I'm doing that.
Do you see that, guys? She's even helping. This, obviously, this is way back, but this woman has a heart of gold. Not only does she stand up on the Terry Wogan show and defend Elvis against his own stepbrother, basically calling him a druggie, she stands up for the Iraq soldiers.
And George Klein's coming, and he's been wonderful since I moved here. And the Doc from Sirius Radio. And there's a very interesting woman called Maxine who's going to tell stories for the first time. She was Elvis's shopper when he used to close the store here. And she's got some really interesting stories. So I try and make it a bit different. And my garden's very English and things like that.
I see. Yeah, so I think she moved over to America. I think LA. I could be wrong. Guys. So let's just see. I want to see if there's any little short interviews. Obviously, we've seen the interview where she defends Elvis. Okay, let's listen to this. I don't think I've watched this.
Thank you, George. Yes, Paradise Susanna style, which is a take.
Show the cover of that.
So she's talking about her book.
Okay, very good.
Yes, it's here at the library, and you can get it on Amazon. It was very exciting for me to make an Elvis movie.
I bet it was.
Oh, it was huge because I was English for a start, and I was a huge Elvis fan. And I always remember the first time Elvis and I were under contract to Hal Wallace. And so I just made a film called Boeing, Boeing with Tony Curtis. And I was sitting in the commissary with Hal, and he said, now...
Guys, I'm a massive Tony Curtis fan. I love Tony Curtis. Anyway, keep going.
Before anything else happens, I'm going to send you and Elvis to Hawaii for a couple of months. I went, wow. And he said, you're not an Elvis fan, are you? And I said, well, sort of. And
yeah.
It was just awesome. He was such an
But you worked with Tony Curtis, and you also worked with the comedian Jerry Lewis. How did Elvis compare on the movie sets?
Oh, well, totally different, really. I mean, Jerry Lewis and Tony I worked with a few times, and was very professional and hugely great actor. And in that respect, he was very similar to Elvis, because Elvis was a very underrated actor. But he also had this photographic memory, as you know.
Yes, he did.
And he could look at a script, even if they changed it last night, and he would know your lines, everybody's lines. And
I've heard this before, that Elvis knew everyone's lines.
And now that's an art.
That's great. Susanna Lee, honey, you have a story about the Queen of England. I'm going to come back to you in just...
Okay, right, so I don't want to play too long clips, otherwise I might get copyrighted, but let's see what else we can find. Let's have a look. Let's listen here, guys.
I got a thing on here I looked up last night about Easy Come, Easy Go, about how that his manager Tom Parker didn't want you to be in the movie with him.
Well, yes and no. Yes.
So just quickly, so Colonel Tom Parker, she was supposed to get a 7-year contract or a 7-movie contract, something like that, and Colonel Tom Parker stopped it from happening.
It's true, but also Charlton Heston at the time was the head of the Screen Actors Guild, and just a few months before that, he'd been turned down to play Gordon of Khartoum in England, so his line was the next limey. That's what we were called. The Brits, we were called limeys in the old days. That walks in the door and wants, you know, to be able to work as an American. I'll put a big no. Well, my big movie, which was going to make me into a major star, was Barefoot in the Park. So Barefoot in the Park and an Elvis movie and another movie all on the same day, and he went no, no, no. So it was basically Charlton Heston.
Now you did a TV series.
So Charlton Heston is the reason she feels she didn't get her role, and I don't think they hit it off. She hit it off with Colonel Tom Parker. I think I read that Susanna Lee wanted to introduce Elvis to many of these very well-known British actors like Michael Caine, etc. And Colonel Tom Parker didn't want her to. I mean, don't forget, Susanna is a very smart lady. Very smart, yeah? So let's just hear what this little clip says, guys.
Well, it was a fantastic experience to work with Elvis. Elvis and I were both under contract to Hal Wallace, who was known as the Star Maker. And I remember the day that Hal Wallace said that I'd be making my next movie with Elvis. And I was an incredible fan of his. So and then he said, you'll be doing it in Hawaii. Wow, that's awesome. Elvis was a fabulous actor, very underrated by a lot of the conventional theatre people. Well,
It's hard to hear, guys, but underrated. So, guys, we will quickly find the clip where she defends Elvis. Let's have a look, because obviously that is how that's how I found out about Susanna. But I will say this: I have watched Susanna Lee's films in the past. I remember her as a child. I do remember. Obviously, I've watched the Elvis one, but I've watched her in many other things as well. I'm very familiar with her face. Stunning beauty, right? So let's see if I can find the Terry Wogan interview. I only want to play a little clip of it, okay?
And at the funeral,
Well, yeah, because you had a lot of fun.
my mother was very upset. Son, please don't go. Please don't.
So, guys, remember my problem with David Stanley. He very easily gets pushed to be negative about Elvis. I don't feel he defends Elvis in the way that he should. Now, I know he was like born again Christian and all that kind of stuff, and turned over a new leaf. I still am not happy that these people that are step brothers, Ricky and Dave, trashed Elvis. I know they've also gone on to say loads of really good things about Elvis, but I'll never be happy about people in the past, whoever they are, that have trashed Elvis for money. I don't accept it. At the very least, we should be getting apologies from anybody that has trashed Elvis in the past. So let's have a little listen, guys.
There throughout the good times and the bad. For a young man as part of the entourage, because there were drugs.
It got difficult. In
Elvis was one of the
women.
least drug takers. I mean, in the 60s when I was.
Guys, I love this. Remember, this is why I love Susanna Lee. I keep saying this, I'm repeating myself. She didn't have to step in and defend Elvis. She didn't have to say a word. She obviously loves him, yeah? She grew close with him. They had a good friendship. They did have a few little kisses. It all wasn't meant to be because she didn't manage to get onto the other movies with Elvis, even though she was supposed to. She defends Elvis from the heart because she wants to. No other reason, not for money. She does it because she wants to. Dave, Stanley, is there for money. He's there for money. He doesn't have to speak negatively about Elvis. He doesn't have to say one negative thing about Elvis, but he chooses to. He chooses to. He plays, I call it like, they try and play the Samaritan. Oh, I'm here on behalf of people that may one day become addicts or may one day get into drugs, may one day go down the wrong road. But they do it using Elvis's name. Oh, I knew Elvis. He had a problem. I'm going to help people that could have a problem in the future by using Elvis's name again and again and again and linking Elvis's name to addiction. I don't like it. I don't like it. I understand Elvis had a serious problem with prescription medication. Elvis was very sick, needed a lot of medication. May have abused it, may have been addicted to some things, but he was sick and he needed it. Elvis did need his medication. He was sick for many years. We have proved again and again through these books that Elvis was genuinely a sick man. Genuinely a sick man. So he did need his medication. I don't care what any of these people say that grew up with him, that were related to him. He needed his prescription medication. And yes, maybe he took too many. Fair enough. But why does family people, family members of Elvis, or an ex-wife, or the Memphis Mafia, or an anyone, yeah, people that work for Elvis, why do they have to say it on national TV to tens of millions of people again and again and again for years to make money? To make money. I'll never accept it. I'm not being hateful. I'm not angry. I just think it's so wrong on so many levels. It is so wrong that these people in the past have done things for money. It's beyond me. I get it if it was complete strangers, but people close to him doing it, and they did it for decades, for years, not just on TV, in books, documentaries, biographies, tabloids, magazines, you name it. Now let's watch how a true fan should be. Susanna Lee, a true fan. Let's listen to her jump in for no reason and defend Elvis.
And I read in the paper the other day that, in fact, apparently he only slept with Priscilla once. So, I mean, I was pretty cool.
But you were there throughout the good times and the bad. For a young man as part of the entourage, because there were drugs.
It got difficult. In 19...
But even Terry's a little bit naughty because he says there were drugs. But come on, guys. Prescription medication. Elvis was sick. Now listen in the background. Listen in the background. Susanna Lee, she ain't having none of it. Listen for her voice.
Because there were drugs.
It got difficult. In
Elvis was one of the least drug takers. I mean, in the 60s when I was there, if you don't mind me butting in, I mean, my goodness, I mean, Elvis really, I mean, no way.
Well, anyway, 1970...
Well, what about in the 70s?
In 1972, Elvis was very hot. His concerts were unbelievable throughout the States.
Yeah.
But in 1974 and 75...
Now, wait, guys. Now, Dave Stanley's hell-bent on trashing Elvis now. Yeah? He doesn't need to do this. Obviously, millions of people will watch this and talk about this. This will be shared around the world again and again in tabloids and magazines and mini news clips. You name it. David's words will be repeated again and again by millions of people. Does Dave care about the damage he's doing to Elvis's reputation and image and the knock-on effect that this had, the ripple effect of David and Rick and other people trashing Elvis, people that were supposed to be family, that were close to him, people that Elvis trusted? Yeah. Does he care? He's more interested in the attention he's receiving on Terry Wogan's show, which was watched by tens of millions of people. He's more interested in himself. He's obviously getting paid to do it. But then Susanna Lee, who has a completely different agenda, she just loves Elvis, wants to defend him. She's not happy that David's about to rip into him. Even Jules Holland, who sits to the side, I can tell is not happy what is about to happen. Susanna Lee jumps in and puts the brakes on and changes the course of this whole interview into a positive interview where they eventually start talking about the positives of Elvis. This interview, if David Stanley had been left to it, was going to trash him for the whole time, in my opinion. Everything I say is opinions for entertainment purposes only, not facts, just a discussion, just a chat. Let's listen to Suzanne, who is a hero, who should be getting a medal for the way she defends our hero Elvis.
There was a slow decline physically, and because of his grueling schedule on tour, he got involved in medication prescribed by physicians. And he would take 1 or 2 to sleep, 1 or 2 to wake up, which was fine with a grueling schedule like Presley had. But because of a physician who felt that there was money to be made, instead of pulling him back, he gave him more and more and more.
my views on Dr. Nick are mixed, guys, because I think Dr. Nick had an impossible task. Now, I do think Dr. Nick made some serious mistakes, I do. But I also think he had literally been given a very, how can I say it? I think Dr. Nick was out of his depth, had taken on a lot, yeah? Didn't really know properly how to help Elvis. I think he loved Elvis. I think Dr. Nick's friendship with Elvis was very close, yeah? But an impossible task, guys.
Use went to abuse, and again, the physician didn't take the care or the time to say, Elvis, you need to back off, you need to slow down. Instead, more and more and more, and it's been written, it's no big surprise that Elvis got involved in heavy, heavy drugs, some 5,000 pills.
Why? This is a stepbrother that Elvis did everything for him. Took him out of an orphanage. Him and his two brothers. Why? Why is this happening? This man grew up with Elvis for 17 years. Elvis loved this man and they loved Elvis. So why is he hell-bent on doing this? What he should be doing is praising Elvis, speaking about all the lovely things that Elvis did, how kind Elvis was, the good he did for mankind. The goodness of Elvis's heart, the Christian man. This is what should be happening here. You don't have to trash Elvis to get on TV, to write a book, to do an interview. Elvis did so much that he could have discussed, but instead they sensationalized the fact that Elvis was very sick and needed prescription medication, and they convert it into Elvis was a druggie, an addict. This is a crime. This is a sin. This should not be happening from close family members that Elvis trusted. Could you imagine how Elvis would feel that this is happening? A stepbrother. Could you imagine how he would feel? Someone that Elvis took from poverty, gave him a life of royalty, a life you could only dream of, and this is how you thank him. And then years later you say sorry and you become a born-again Christian, spend your life saying that you're helping people with drug addiction and help people become Christians. What we need is proper apologies from these people for how they treated Elvis, how they trashed his image and reputation. That's what we need from anybody in the past that has trashed Elvis. Say sorry, show regret. That's what we need. No excuses.
Prescribed 6 months before he died. Now, no one needs that type of medication, but here was a doctor who
No, Elvis did need that kind of medication. He didn't take 5,000 pills. That's bullshit. Elvis did need his medication. He had so many different sicknesses in his body, which has been proved in these books, but also been proved again and again by different research that has been done. Elvis was sick, and he was sick from childhood. He was sick through his teens, 20s, 30s, obviously 40s. He was genuinely sick, in pain, could not sleep. We're not making this up. This has been turned into a twisted version of events to portray Elvis as some sad drug addict binging on burgers. It is out of order. Out of order.
Saw a gold mine and took advantage of it, and Elvis, who had become somewhat addicted, justified the fact that he was taking drugs by his name being on the bottle. He would catch me at that time. I was heavily involved in drugs. David, if you do that, you're off this hill. David, if I catch you ever do that again, I'm gonna fire you. You'll never come around.
I love that. Elvis is trying to stop him from taking drugs. He was the drug addict. David Stanley was the drug addict. So was Rick. And they were looking after Elvis whilst taking drugs, whilst partying, whilst sleeping with all the women around. Allegedly, for entertainment purposes, just an opinion, this is a discussion program. So he needs to look in the mirror and look at himself rather than trashing Elvis based on memories that when these memories, he was drugged out of his head. David Stanley was drugged out of his head. So was Rick. Cocaine, heroin. Yeah, allegedly.
Around again, but yet he could take it because justification was, this has been prescribed to me. Elvis was a victim of circumstance, and he had a little boy trust in doctors that ultimately took his life.
Even this little boy trust, I don't like it. It demeans him. He says he had a little boy trust, blah, blah, blah. I don't like it. How would he feel if Elvis said, you've got a little boy trust? Just wrong, guys. Now, Susanna Lee. Remember, Susanna Lee, her daughter, has sent me this book, Natalia Lee, a signed book from Natalia Lee. This was in Natalia Lee's home, and she signed it and sent it to us, Team Elvis. We are very proud to have this book, and we're going to read different parts of this book. So now let's listen to Susanna Lee, who defends Elvis just because she likes him, just because she loves him, because she knows the true man. She has no reason to do this. She doesn't do it for money. She does it for love. But remember, look at Jules Holland. He's upset because Jules Holland is an Elvis fan. I don't know if you guys know Jules Holland, sat down there. He's a very gifted musician. He's into rhythm and blues and soul and all the rest of it. He loves Elvis. So he is horrified that David Stanley is trashing his own stepbrother on national TV to millions of people. So let's listen to Susanna Lee, a hero who defends Elvis.
But he also believed that he had a very bad illness, because he told me he had a very bad illness, and that was covered by drugs. And maybe the doctors told him he had a very bad illness. I mean, I remember 10 years ago when he died, I spent 3 hours on all networks all over the thing, and I was convinced, mainly because he was convinced, that he had cancer of the colon.
That is true. That is true. Elvis was in a...
Guys, come on. Susanna Lee, good friend of Elvis, very close friend of Elvis. They did really become close. She spent months with him, defending him, because she's a nice person. She's a lovely person with a good heart. Even to the day she died, was helping people, loved Elvis fans, was always proud to be in the Elvis community, did many events, held many events concerning Elvis and her friendship with Elvis. She's knocked him off his pedestal. She's interrupted his stream of bullshit, of negative crap that is coming out of his mouth concerning Elvis, his stepbrother, who did everything for him. Elvis did everything for him and his two brothers. Actually, for his mother as well, Dee Stanley. Dee Stanley also trashes Elvis. What is going on, guys? Seriously, I know Billy Stanley has made amends. He's wrote a beautiful book, The Fate of Elvis, which is a lovely book. Billy Stanley now defends Elvis, which I'm so pleased that has happened. But come on, guys. Susanna Lee deserves a round of applause for... Now, just in case you don't know, guys, this is part 2. Part 1 was on the video channel. Natalia Lee was watching the show. She's already messaged me. Yeah. She's posted it on her own Facebook. So Natalia Lee, thank you so much for sending this book, this signed book to me. But also, thank you so much for watching our video that we made this morning, obviously praising, honouring your mother, Susanna Lee. So Natalia actually watched us, guys. When we did about an hour show, and Natalia Lee was there the whole time. So I'm so pleased that she watches our show. She loves that we defend Elvis, just like her mum did. Just like her mum did.
A tremendous amount of pain at the end of his life, and his schedule, you just can't imagine. You know, like most rock and rollers go out, do a show, off a week, off 2 days, off at least a day. Elvis was out every single night, 21-day tours, off a week, another 21-day tour, and it was physically wearing him down. And there is...
So the whole conversation starts to turn now, because he knows, David Stanley, this is just an opinion, knows that Susanna Lee is not going to let him trash Elvis. She ain't going to do it. She's going to make sure, and she's very clever with it, that he doesn't trash Elvis. So the whole conversation turns now, and he starts to praise Elvis. Yeah. And then she has a beaming smile on her face. Beautiful Susanna Lee, stunning beauty, because she knows she's achieved her goal. Her goal was, in my opinion, to stop David Stanley from trashing his own stepbrother.
Talk and proof now that Elvis had some colon cancer and was in a great deal of pain, and yet he would never slow down, and he would continue to push on, and because he loved to make people happy.
That's right.
I loved what
Here we go. See, she's got him. She's got him. Oh, because he loved to make people happy. Here comes the bullshit. Even though we know it's true, he did love to make people happy. He knows he's caught out in this show. After this show, he goes on to trash Elvis on many other shows, in tabloids, in magazines, in documentaries. But in this show with Terry Wogan, with Susanna Lee, whilst Jules Holland is sat there, she puts a stop to it. And this is why I'm so proud of Susanna Lee.
You said about the smile on someone's face. It couldn't have been said better. And he loved to do that to the fans. He may not be able to give something physically to him, but he gave himself.
And look at the smile on her face.
Oh, yes.
And the
And
people,
that voice.
the voice and the smile was on the face, and that made
Do you
him
have
happy.
any recollections of Gracelands? It must have been a horrific place.
It was beautiful.
But after he died. Beautiful, certainly, but after Elvis died, it must have been like a mausoleum, like a morgue.
Well, at the funeral, when I was at the funeral, it was unbelievable to see the mass amount of people just gathered at the gates. Some 80,000 people.
So they go on to the funeral. Of course, we know Elvis was so loved around the world that, of course, 80,000 people went there. But shame on you, Dave Stanley. I don't care what leaf you've turned over. I don't care if you're a born-again Christian. You're out of order, mate. And shame on you. Yeah, you're living such a good life at Westgate now, a resident at Westgate, and all because of Elvis. You've lived a great life because of Elvis. So you owe him a massive apology. I think you owe him about 1,000 apologies. And you owe the Elvis fans apologies as well. You owe Lisa Marie an apology. You trashed Elvis in front of Lisa Marie for decades. So sorry, guys. We do have to try and be forgiving. But nah, I'm not in a forgiving mood just today. Maybe tomorrow. So, right, okay. Let's see if we can hear some more things with Susanna Lee. Let's find a couple of other short little clips, shall we, guys? What's this? Let's just clip on this, see, guys.
That. I remember every detail of these because I was such a huge Elvis fan.
Yeah.
And I was sitting on the set in Hawaii. I hadn't met him before. And so I was trying to look really cool because I was like, supposed to be quite well known. I'd made quite a lot of movies by then. I'd started to work when I was 11. And here I was 19, so, I was sort of a veteran by then. And so I'd been told that Elvis, all this nonsense about Elvis chatting up every leading lady is absolute rubbish, which I found out was rubbish, but publishers like to say things like that. But anyway, everybody said to me, I don't think he's going to make a big fuss. He'll be very charming, and then he'll be surrounded by his guys, and that's it. So I thought, I don't think so, Coco. I've been mad about this guy since I was 12 years old or whatever. So I'm sitting on the set. You have to imagine this. I'm sitting on the set on a little stool, but, one of those tall stools. I've got the script in front of me, and I'm pretending I'm looking at the lines, but really I'm thinking to myself, what I'm going to say to this guy. So I presumed he was going to say, oh, how do you do, ma'am, or something like that, to which I was going to say, oh, we have a good friend in common, to which he was going to say, it was one of those.
Right.
Which we did have a good friend in common, George Sidney, who directed Viva Las Vegas. Anyway, to cut the long story short.
So you had a script going through your head of how you were going to talk to Elvis.
That's right. And anyway, so I'm sitting there going through all this, and somebody rushed on the set and said, Elvis is coming. Wow, the script went flying, and I had a picture, my heart thumping, and I'm thinking, we've got a good friend in common. Calm down. And suddenly, this hand came in front of my face with a cup of tea in it. And I should have recognized his voice, but I didn't. You know how you're so busy thinking of something else. And this voice said, oh, I believe everyone from England drinks tea. So I'm looking at the teacup, and I'm slowly saying, but I'm looking up slowly, and I'm saying, no, I don't. And then I went, oh, yes, I do. And I looked, I went, oh, yes, I love tea. And it was about 6 weeks later before I admitted that I didn't actually like tea. But,
so what did he say to you? Or
he said, why didn't you tell me? Oh, you mean, he did the how'd you do business, but I was so shocked. I didn't, it took me ages. And then we, you know, we sort of got on, and then he started making jokes and things like that, and I was quite quick in those days. And then I suddenly said, "Oh, listen, we have a good friend in common."
Oh, so you finally got it out, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
And to which he really was just like the movie. He said, "Oh, really? Who's that?" And I said, "Oh, George Sidney." and then we just went cracking up. And he said, "Why are we laughing?" I said, "I'm not sure." And I'm thinking, well, that's exactly what I was supposed to do.
Uh-huh.
So it was lovely.
Did you ever date him?
Not really, no.
But did
we were going to make another movie together, and the publishers offered me a lot of money when they saw a photograph of Elvis and I kissing. It had nothing to do with the movie, and I refused to. All publishers said to me was, we like Elvis to have affairs with all his leading ladies, which is like, oh, right. I see. Is it anything to do with Elvis? Apparently not.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, oh, no, I'm not going to do that. So then they said, oh, well, we'll make sure you're not published.
So that was that's something they wanted. Elvis was to be with all the women. He was supposed to be a...
Yes, because that's what they like. So, and I also, they wanted...
That's interesting, isn't it, guys? That the press always push that they like to put in their papers and magazines, I would say, that Elvis was having an affair with his co-star when maybe many times he was not.
Me to cut the last chapter in my book where I name who started the rumor that Elvis died of a drug overdose, which he didn't, of course, and it's really harmed his, his persona. It's harmed. So they said, oh, people don't need to know that. I said, well, people do.
Right.
They do need to know that. And but luckily, I ended up publishing it myself. I've sold about 5,500, and I've taken it to Australia, and I go to Canada quite a lot.
All right, so she actually has put in her book, who started the rumor that Elvis died from a drug overdose. That's interesting. I wonder if there's a heading here for that. That's interesting that she said that. I'd love to find that part on it. So she actually puts who started the rumor that Elvis died of a drug overdose. Do any of you know it, guys? Unfortunately, I have to read the whole book to find out. But I can take a few guesses. Yeah, who started the rumor that Elvis died from a drug overdose? Don't forget, you've got ridiculous rumors. Obviously, David and Rick, the whole thing that Elvis committed suicide, just bullshit. More bullshit from family members, from people that grew up with him. The people closest to Elvis are the ones that trashed him the most, including his ex-wife and the Memphis Mafia. Right, I'm going to play a couple more minutes, guys, and I've got to go. So I'm going to go walk Ella as well. I might do a keto dog walk, okay, guys?
Which is lovely.
Mm-hmm. I look forward to reading it.
It's real. I'll send it to you today.
How was Elvis on the set?
Oh, he was great. He was great. He knew everybody's lines. Obviously his own, but he knew everybody else's as well. And he was a fabulous actor. Hal Wallace said that. Hal Wallace said that this guy really needs to have some fabulous parts. He is a very good actor.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was coming from a very, very, clever producer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe Elvis was a great actor. He just wasn't given the right chance in his later years, was he? In the early years, like Jailhouse Rock and King Creole, he was brilliant. I love the so-called cheesy movies. I love them. They remind me of my childhood growing up in the 70s and 80s. I love the films. I love a lot of the songs in the movies. So I don't see Elvis's movies in a bad way like some people do. I think I love them all, guys. I love all Elvis movies. I don't care what people say about them.
But no, he was a very good actor. He could have, and he should have made many better movies.
Yeah, it's a shame that he didn't get the chance to.
Yeah, well, he did. He was offered them, but the Colonel always worked out reasons and all sorts of bad stuff.
Did you have any run-ins with the Colonel?
Yes, I did. Yes, not a
interesting question.
Nice man.
No.
Not a nice man.
And that's one of the reasons I didn't do Barefoot in the Park, and I didn't do Easy Come, Easy Go. The director of Easy Come, Easy Go and Roustabout, in fact, is coming to my event, Night of 1,000 Stars.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dying to tell you about it.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
You there?
Right, okay, guys. I think that's it. We're basically up to an hour now, aren't we? So I could go on. Do you know what? I could just keep playing lots of different interviews with Susanna Lee. I could read her book. Obviously, please buy her book, guys. Lovely book. Yeah. Thank you so much to her daughter for sending me the book. Natalia Leigh for signing the book. I'm just chuffed to bits. Chuffed to bits. She sent it me. Just because she wanted to. I will always be a massive supporter of Susanna Lee, a #1 Elvis defender. I love Elvis defenders, guys. We're a special breed, Elvis defenders. Yeah, people that have never slated Elvis, that have never trashed him. We've always been there for him. Mainly, I would say the Elvis fans. Elvis fans. So that's what we are, Elvis defenders. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go. I could carry on and play more clips and talk about Susanna all day. We could literally spend the day talking about Susanna. Gotta go, guys. All the best to you. Thank you all for joining me. I'm going to probably do a dog walk on the Keto channel. I'll see you there. Take care. Thanks, everybody. It's been brilliant. Really enjoyed it. Loved it. And see you